This is a home interview, Amsterdam, New York, the 20th of May, 2003, 11 a.m. The interviewers are Mike Russert and Wayne Clark. Could you give me your full name, date of birth, and place of birth, please?
Edward Luzinas, L-U-Z-I-N-A-S. September 14, 1923. Amsterdam, New York, 22 Corey Street.
Okay. What was your educational background prior to entering the military?
High school.
Okay.
Yeah, I graduated high school.
Do you recall where you were and what your feelings were when you heard about Pearl Harbor?
I was in a pool room. I was shooting pool, listening to the radio at a football game. Then he interrupted, and we were all kids, 18, 19. We says, what the heck is Pearl Harbor? Where is Pearl Harbor? Then items cleared up.
Were you drafted or did you enlist?
No, I was drafted.
Okay. Could you tell us about when you were drafted and where you went for your induction?
See, I drafted 1943, February of 1943. We went into Albany. The sergeant come out, the recruiting sergeant, and us being kids, we start BSing. Recruiting sergeant barked, shut the expletive, deleted up. You're in the Army now. Form your line. That's our first experience of the Army.
Where did you go for your basic training?
They stuck me in a tank in, let's see, North Camp Polk, Louisiana, by Leesville and the river.
Now, was this your first time away from home?
Basically, yes.
How did you feel about that?
What can you do, you know?
Yes. Did you have any of your friends go with you? Or did you get...
There was a group of draftees that got on the train, and oh yeah, one of the things I recollect, I weighed 250 pounds. I had a 46-inch girth. The Army couldn't give me a uniform. I had to wait for pants. So as the incoming recruits come in on a train from Amsterdam, I used to go down meet them. That camp on Long Island.
Upton.
Yeah. And I used to greet the guys from Amsterdam coming, telling them you'll be sorry. And I'm sure they were.
So you did your basic training in Louisiana?
Yeah, Leesville. Yeah, Leesville Camp Polk.
So you immediately were assigned to the armor?
Yeah.
Okay. Could you tell us about your basic training in the armor?
The reason they put me in the Army, I used to worked on locomotive parts and alcohol products, tanks. And basic training, I mean, in Louisiana with the heat, you used to go out with a dry uniform and come back and you see all the sweat and all your white salt stain. Basically, I mean, what everybody else wants. You how to march, how to salute the dam officer, emphasize dam officers. Yeah. Then after a while, they showed us our tanks, and you learn how to use the tank.
What kind of tanks did you train on?
You're General Sherman, yeah. Yeah, and I'm for 32 ton.
What position were you on in the tank?
Well, everybody, when they did basic training, you drove a tank. Well, the end result, it ended up, I was a gunner. When they had me fired up, the 75 millimeter, I'd say 1,400 yards, there was a 2x4 stuck in the ground. Well, I mean, I had an old sergeant, regular Army saddler. He told me how to use the gun. I knocked that 2x4 down with one round.
Wow.
And then the battalion commander wanted to know who it was and all. After that, I was King Tut. I was the top gunner. I mean, there's a lot on that, the top gunner on that, man. Too much, in fact. That was a big mistake. And they put me from the third tank in line to the first tank, an officer's tank, and all the dirty work we had to do.
How did you sight the gun?
You had a periscope you look through, maybe that vision. And you had your guideline markings on that. And you had, well, you could set your markings. Then on your 3-inch tube, you put crosshairs. You found the furthest distance where there was right angle. You put your crosshairs on it, and then you corrected your periscope, the same picture. And then the actual shooting, you fired a 30 caliber machine gun to pick up your target, then you made a click or two over to the right. Then you fired your cannon at it and raised it a little bit.
What kind of gear did you wear inside the tank? What kind of special gear, anything? Did you wear the helmet?
I get a kick out of it. Every time they show you a tank out, the helmet was a nuisance, I mean, in a tank. What you wore in there, I don't think I ever wore my helmet. My tank commander used to have the peapod, the metal helmet. But me, I had clear, nothing, because you had to put your head into the periscope. I didn't have any hat, no nothing. No, that's one of the reasons I wrote the book, that they show you the helmet, and everybody figured it was a John Wayne movie. I mean, a lot of people put you down and all. So I wrote the book. Yeah, I wrote a book, you know.
Yes, we have that, yes. You sent us a copy. So you never wore a helmet at all then?
No. No, we threw them away.
So did none of the crew except your officer that was inside?
He was reading the article there. I mean, it was amazing with the officer. One time he had me shoot at a barn. He wanted a 75 millimeter 3-inch round put in a barn. I fired at him, and my explosion was 50 yards behind the barn. He says, "What the hell's the matter with your head? Can't you hit the side of a barn?" You laugh. And I said, "You want a round in there." And then it dawned on me there's a delaying action on a high explosive. I mean, you fired a round when it hits, you got a matter of seconds. I went through the barn, exploded the end there. So I told him, "You want a round in?" He says, "Yeah." So I skidded around it, and it exploded. But the follow-up on that, in Palau in Death Valley, he had me shoot at it was a firing hole for a rifleman, maybe 10-inch round like that. So I fired a round into it. I heard him yell. I turned around, looked, he grabbed his right shoulder. He opened up his blouse. It was all ripped up. And I said, "What the hell are you doing? You sticking your head out when I'm shooting." He says, "Yeah, I shoot it." He was a West Pointer. I shoot his fanny out. Yeah, one of our reunions, he told his wife that I saved his life. Yeah, but in comparison, where I couldn't hit a barn and the damn fool was sticking his head out, I didn't go in clean, and I hit the coral, the side. He got ripped up with coral. He didn't even get a Purple Heart. And the battalion commander, a major, he's an expletive deleted. He bugged the living hell out of us in Anguar. He ended up a lieutenant colonel, and he ended up a general. My tank commander ended up a colonel. 30 years West Pointer. He didn't even get the Purple Heart. I knew that I would have put it in for him. Yeah, quite an experience.
So how long was your training in the United States?
About 14, 15 months, I think.
Well, was all of it in Louisiana?
Louisiana, then we went Camp Cook, San Luis Obispo, Then Seattle, we shipped out of Seattle.
What kind, now, did all your tanks go over with you on the same ship?
Yeah, on an LST.
You went on an LST?
Yeah, all your headquarters, your kitchen, even you brought medical supplies and gasoline, water, food rations on an LST.
How many tanks could you fit on an LST?
Yeah.
You remember?
We put our 16 tanks of the company, plus a company truck and I think 2 other trucks. Yeah.
Where did you go from Seattle?
We went to Hawaii. Oh,
Now, were you in a convoy?
no, we were on a beautiful ocean liner. You know, you see the TV, your ocean liners, the hula dancers and stuff.
Oh, so all the men went on the ocean liner and your equipment went on the LST?
Yeah.
Okay.
We were in a banana boat, 5 tiers high bunks. They were canvas bunks, had hot sweltering. The skipper, he finally put a fan on those. But our vision of a luxury liner. Then we got to Hawaii, no hula dancers, no nothing.
How long were you in Hawaii?
Maybe 3 or 4 months. Yeah, we had jungle training there in Hawaii. If you ever get the opportunity, Hawaii, I got pictures of it. Let's see, on the Waikiki side, it's a sheer mountain. And then there's a gradual slope on the other side. You go up that, the Palau Pass, they call it, Palau Highway. You get up on the peak here. They have a Palau lookout. And you look out, you see the beautiful, everything clean in Hawaii, the surf coming in. You got trade winds coming in, beautiful. Then on the other side of the mountain, you go straight down. Well, that's turns. That was one of my real good memories of the so-called Army.
Okay, after you were trained in Hawaii, where did you go from there?
From there, we got aboard ship and we went to Guadalcanal for maneuvers. I mean, prior to Seattle, we were in San Diego. We got our amphib training in San Diego. Yeah, we attacked the President Nixon's island. We conquered that twice. Yeah, San Clemente. Then from there, I mean, we rode the small boats and stuff. And from there, San Luis Obispo and then Seattle.
Okay. On Guadalcanal, when did you reach Guadalcanal?
Oh, the Guadalcanal, I was ready for to go into the Palaus. We didn't know it at the time.
So Guadalcanal was secure by the time you...
Oh yeah, the Marines took it as secure. Yeah.
So this was where you went for additional training?
We got off the boat and back on the LSD. That was about it. But the main kicker there, crossing the equator, the Navy had got a slide with grease on it. They put me on it and I slid down and my red leg was sticking out and it hit a tie down for the tying down whatchamacallit, and I got a heck of a sprain. And Guadalcanal, they put me in a wire basket, side of the ship, and dropped me off, took me to Guadalcanal. And then the doctors there says, they said, Mr. Luzinas, well, Corporal Luzinas, we advise you not to go into combat because of your ankle. And me, like a stupid jerk, I said, no, I better go because my crew depended on me. So we went into combat. The Navy gave me a sort of a crutch. One of my canvas leggings, we cut it in half, we made a legging brace. And Learned how to walk again. No major problem. But there's stupid gung-ho nonsense. Instead of saying, hey, I'm safe and secure, I said, no, I gotta go with my crew. Jerk. Stupid.
So from Guadalcanal, where did you?
Yeah, we went to Anguar. Well, prior to that, September 15th, the Marines landed on Palau. And at night I went up to watch them. Oh, this is something I gotta tell you. When we were leaving Pearl Harbor, we shipped out of a submarine base. I said, I want to see the Pearl Harbor wreckage. I went topside. They told me all Army personnel go below. They wouldn't let me see the wreckage. And they sent me off to war and they wouldn't let me see that. Had a couple of doozies. Yeah. On Anguar, we secured, well, we took a shellac and my tank did. I mean, and, they beat us up pretty bad but never penetrated. Yeah, I know that. Yank. Then from Anguar, they called us in a pelly loop because the first Marines took a shellac and they got wiped out. Got aboard an LST and they blew the Navy whistle. Oh, chow down, all hands chow down. I told my crew, come on. We got our line, we got the metal tray, big bowl of rice there. The Navy guy says, sorry, Mac, we're not feeding Army. I said, what's up? Lousy damn officers. We got our sea rations and underneath one of the areas that we're eating at, and we said the lousy damn officers are up in the officers' quarter eating steak. Yeah, the officers now, I mean, I despise them. Yeah, one officer, John Sadler, he was a regular Army, sergeant staff. He got up on a tank one day and he pointed the finger at the penis of an officer. I mean, most of them were just out of OCS. And he says, which one of the manuals you get that crap out of? He was busting that right before sundown. That officer, they got rid of him too. I had an officer like that. Well, I had three of them. In Palau, we got orders, do not part of Palau, that my tank commander, he made the company commander, the light tank outfit, commander, he got killed, and my tank commander, the West Pointer, made company commander. Then I got a replacement in, regular Army bum, and I emphasize bum, Wee Willie Campbell. He come in, and he brown-nosed us, wanted to learn about the tanks. Then we got called into Okinawa. He gave me a bottle of booze. He says, for the tank crew. And I said, good. So I put it away. In Okinawa, they didn't need us. They held. We went to Leyte. He says, hey, Luzinas, where's that bottle of booze that you transported for me? I says, Lieutenant, that was for the crew. He says, well, I want it. So I got in a tank in a turret part, halfway up. I got the bottle of booze, and for everybody present. Remember now, I was a top gunner, I could get away with some of this stuff. I got the bottle of booze, and I says, here's your expletive-deleted booze, shove it up your fanny. Yeah, he took it. Then we got orders not to shoot down coconut trees, not to knock them down. The government gonna pay for it. We get the maneuvers to go to Japan. We had a simulated showing the history how we work. And he says, you see that big, he couldn't find the simulated dugout. He says, you see that big tall palm tree there? He said, knock it down. I says, Lieutenant, we got orders not to knock it down, remember? I'm ordering you to. So I fired around, I knocked it down. Then we got through, I cleaned my guns. He come up, he says, Luzinas, I want you to fire again for the show the infantry how you work. I said, look, Lieutenant, my guns are clean. You got 4 other damn tanks, well, 3 others. Tanks, no, was it 2 others? I said, you got 2 other tanks, use them. My guns are clean. I'm more than you, though. So you want it that way? Okay. So another simulated problem. Then, got through with that. I got out of the tank, I went to my canteen to get a drink. My canteen was missing. There was a canteen there and the jerky officer had his numbers on it. I opened it up, it stunk of booze, wine, all the other crap. So I looked at him and I says, which one of you SOBs stole my canteen? And I looked at him, pointed a finger at him. He said, you come down there. So I got off the tank, the back of the tank. He said, you stand at attention. I said, you go to hell. You're talking to an officer. We see the old man. We'll find out if you are an officer. That was the day they dropped the atomic bomb. So we got back to the old man. The old man said, the company commander says, he wants a court-martial. I says, Captain, I'll take a court-martial. And it ended up I got 5 days guard duty. And the 5th day they shipped that guy out somewhere. But that guy would have killed him. The first opportunity to come up, I would have killed that SOB because it was either my crew or him. I had another officer in the States. He was a 3rd platoon tank commander. His name was Capone, Al Capone. No, Capone. In the States, he says, I'll get my machine gun and I'll wipe him out. The first day on the island, in the morning on the radio, help me. We're going to get annihilated. It was him. He couldn't get his tank started. And they got shook up, they ran all the way back to the beach. He worked my tank. And one day on Palau, he put my gun on a blank mountain wall. He said, how many rounds you got, Luzinas? I told him I got about 100 rounds of the HE 75 millimeter. He said, shoot him up or get out of there. So I started shooting him up. My eyes were burning, my driver was coughing, assistant driver was coughing. My buddy Lightning had his head out the little porthole on his side getting there. I turned around and I looked. This officer had the hatch down, button right up. I told him, you open up that damn hatch. He tapped his shoulder, he said, see that? And he had ink spots there. I said, somebody dropped ink on your shoulder. He says, I'm the commander of this tank. I said, like hell you are. You shut up and keep your trap shut. You open up that hatch, or I'm going to throw you out there and run back to the beach. So I told my driver, after you open kick the engine over, get some air in there. I had a couple more incidents with him. The main kicker was him. On Leyte, we went swimming, me and my buddy. And this officer come charging down. It's my buddy Capone. He says, hey, Ed. I looked at him, I said, look, you're a lieutenant. I'm Luzinas. Well, he says, how are you feeling, Ed? I told him, okay, why? He said, well, you don't look too good. He didn't chew us out, he took off. My buddy says, hey, Ed, what was that about? I says, you're getting ready to go to Japan. I says, he's soiling his pants already. Yeah, brown nose, man.
Could you tell us a little bit about Palau? How the Marines landed, how many days after D-Day did you land?
I think they were in 10 days they were wiped out.
Mm-hmm. Could you tell us about your engagements on Palau?
Yeah. You know, off the West Road, there was a rugged mountain range, they call it the Umbragol, Umbrogral. And it was all, well, 5 brothers, the Peaks, and 4 valleys, the sisters. and it was all intertwined with caves and all coral, massive coral, no dirt there. Yeah, the main kicker was Death Valley. Yeah, you came in a slight rise. On your left was Old Baldy, a big, I think 80, 100 feet in the air. And then you go down a little, the Death Valley in front of you. Then you went down a little rise, and you made a right-hand turn. You went into the horseshoe where there's water and the caves around it. Yeah, all coral.
Was there much vegetation on the island?
The vegetation originally was chopped down by the Navy. When they the preliminary barge chopped it all down. Yeah, all up the palms and stuff. I got to go back and tell you about Anguar. We made the picture of the ink. An Anguar, picture a teacup. The handle was a railroad where you're digging phosphates in it. And then the body of your cup is all mountains. The center of the cup was a pond. Well, we went in there. The infantry sent in M15s. Well, I know one bird was burning in front of me, but according to the Yank, there were two of them. They got hit and the 5 men were killed. We had we had to get by that because it was a very narrow gauge. They put my tank on a stand showing the gully. To get by that, the battalion commander bugged the living heck out of it. It ended up, my tank commander told him, "Why don't you come up here? It's safe. The medics are taking a wounded out." And the battalion commander, this on tape, he said, "Well, that's what I wanted to hear." And a jerk, he comes up, he had a sidearm on his hip. And you shouldn't do that because that designates officer. And they told me prior to that to shoot up that tank. The words they used, blow it up. How you gonna blow it? So I put 34 holes in it by shooting at it. And I put the fire out. Then he come up with the sidearm, and the company commander with him with an M1. And he hooked the cable from my tank onto that M15. The heart of that was, he got a Silver Star for doing that. He brought his adjutant up with him. The adjutant wrote it up. The adjutant got a Silver Star. And my poor tank commander didn't even get a Purple Heart. I mean, the military with their junk. Yeah,
How long were you on Palau?
Let's see, we landed there, I think about the 23rd of September. We were there until October 24th, I believe.
Did your tank unit suffer any losses on Palau? Were there any tank losses?
Let's see, Palau. We lost 2 tanks land, and we lost 4 tanks on Anguar. Palau, no.
How many were in your crew?
5.
5?
Yeah, there was a driver, assistant driver, a guy that loaded the gun for me and the tank commander.
What kind of side, did you carry any weapons? Did you have any sidearms or any
We had
weapons in?
Thompson submachine gun, yeah.
Did each member of the crew have a Thompson?
Yeah.
Nobody carried the grease gun? Nobody carried the grease gun, tight machine gun?
No, you're not talking. The Marines had one, but I think they called it the Daisy. It wasn't too effective because it jammed up. And I don't think you're referring to the BAR.
No, it's a small, I think it was an M3.
Yeah, the Marines had them, but we didn't have them. No, we had Tommy guns, the infantry. The infantry wanted them. So being a good GI, we swapped the Tommy guns for pistols. And then we had a lot of cowboys come up. I mean, the scavengers and the real assholes. So we used to swap the pistols, sell it to them for $50 or try to get a bottle of booze. We sold a couple, man. This I gotta tell you. On Palau, Death Valley, there was a cave just past that road to the right. That was the main officer's cave. This one guy come up, he clean shaven, clean fatigues, the fatigues were pressed, his boots were shiny. He come up there, got it, and the mouth of the cave, and he's looking out, and I said, I'm going to have some fun with him. So I yelled at him, I said, hey Mac, I said, they're out there, they'll blow your expletives, they'll lead the head off. He jumped back, then he gave me the dirtiest look. He must have been a major. He didn't belong there. They're scavengers, huh? Had one guy come up, a Navy guy. Well, I think there are 3 or 4, and they had blues on. And they come up the Death Valley, and they look down there, and they're ready to go down the Death Valley. I told them I wouldn't go down there. I said, you'd be under fire. They went down there. Guys start kicking teeth out of a dead jab. Dead stinking jab, that maggot. And he took a hit. And he cried like a baby. We had to take the tank down and get him the hell out. But they didn't pay any attention. The Marines had the right idea. When the Navy men come up at rear echelon, they put them to work bringing water and ammunition up to the line. In the Marine book, they stated one guy took off for running. And the Marine that was on guard, the supervisor in that detail, fired a round behind him. The guy come back. Yeah, but there's a scavenger. Yeah. And
So after Palau, you went back to Leyte?
well, the Okinawa had taken a shellacking. We were supposed to go to Okinawa. That's when I had the booze bit with that wee Willie. And then en route they didn't need us. They halt, so they shipped us to Leyte to get ready to go to Japan. Yeah.
So what were your feelings when you heard about the atomic bombs being dropped?
You didn't see it as like your TV. That was the day I had the rhubarb with the ulcer.
Right.
But I mean, there's something you had to absorb. I think about 3 days before we realized that the war was probably over. Then we had to wait another week. While we were waiting, I got a kick. Battalion commanders sent people out on the road with a radio to tell us when the wheels were coming, and so we looked busy. Yeah, they figured the war's over, we're going to be busy. Yeah, we sweated that out. Then we sweated out shipping back to the States. But we had paradise still in Leyte. We had a big white sandy beach, surf coming in. To the west we had the sunset. Over to the left they had the Samar Islands, and you could see the other islands there. And they fed us. They fed us. The war was over. They forgot we existed. They were giving us macaroni and tomato juice. The garbage cans were overfilled. We had to buy fish from the natives. They forgot we really existed. Battalion commander checking out the garbage cans every day. But it's part of the army, I guess.
So how did you get back to the States? Did you take a ship back or fly back?
It was December 24th of 45, yeah. Yeah, we boarded a ship, shipped into San Pedro Harbor. Then we had the usual steak and ice cream. I had too much ice cream. I had to run. The usual victory meal, served by the German prisoners. They served it.
Was it?
Yeah.
When were you discharged?
That was January 24th of 1946, Camp Dix. That felt like a free man. No, don't laugh.
No, I know you would.
Because, I mean, at the time, like I told you, that one officer, Wee Willie Campbell, I would have killed him the first opportunity I had. Well, when I was a free man, got out of prison January 24th, that was a burden off my shoulders. Yeah. But that officer, I was at the trot at Saratoga one night, and in front of me, there was the pear-shaped guy, early 40s, bald-headed. I was ready to kick him in the fanny. Something says, Ed, check him out. What's the guy, Soup Campbell, doing from Missouri? What's he doing here? So I looked at Wilson Campbell. I shook like a leaf all night long. I mean, that was the agony the asshole put us through.
Did you ever make use of the GI Bill when you returned?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. I got some, yeah. Faithfully. Again, yeah. Oh, I was hitting whiplash accidents, 3 of them in a 2 year. I ended up, well, my condition now. They tried to figure out what was wrong with me. They deduced it was multiple sclerosis. Then from there I went to the VA, and then, the VA, I think 69, they provided medication, free, eyeglasses, hearing aid.
Did you ever suffer hearing problems from being in the tank?
Yeah. On the hearing test, the VA guy says, as a military, because the military, told me, I said, when you're firing 100-something rounds a day for 24 days, I said, yeah, hearing loss, yeah. Yeah, they provided a hearing aid. They're taking good care of me. In fact, I got my rundown. I got vision problems. June 11th, they had the eye test. They got double vision here. Tomorrow I got to go down for something on my head. This I got to tell you. On the eye test, the girl, I think it was say a Friday. No, I say Wednesday. The eye exam. I got a telephone call, I think 8:30 in the morning, and they says, Ed, there's an opening for an MRI at 10:30. Can you come down and we found something on your brain? I told her it's impossible. She said, what do you mean? I said, I had a brain scan 1966 when I was trying to figure out what was wrong with me. And they says I'm brainless. She says, cut the malarkey, this is a... Well, I went down, I took an MRI. They made a special appointment 2 days later. They did, as I told them, I'm brainless. They didn't find out. Yeah, the VA taking darn good care of me.
Did you ever use the 5220 club?
Oh, yeah. I took them all. Because you had to unwind. I mean, one of the things when you're leaving Camp Dix, being discharged, it says, hey, you had people telling you what to do every damn day. Well, 2 years, 24 days, and 2 years, 11 months, 24 days. And now you're a free man, like the burden of the... And then you unwind, you stay away from... Now I stay away from people. Yeah.
Did you join any veterans organizations?
VFW in Broad Albin, but so-so. I mean, I didn't believe the principles didn't abide by that. A little click, so I dropped them. I'm in the Legion now in Amsterdam, 701. They're pretty good there. Yeah, they feed the poor people every Christmas. Yeah, they're pretty good. There's some phonies there, but you know who they are, you ignore them.
Did you ever keep in contact with anyone that you served with?
My buddy, the reunion in Dunmore, Pennsylvania, we set up reunions. Yeah, in fact, Yeah, I got pictures and stuff.
Let me just stop. Okay, what happened?
And brought over and they got rainwater in there and it landed on me.
So this is you right here?
Yeah.
Let me zoom in on it anyway. Okay. But that's your unit out in California?
Now,
Yeah.
when was that taken?
Camp Cook and I think 44, I believe. I believe it's on the bottom, huh?
Yeah.
My memory's good, but not that good. In fact, writing a damn book, many a night, stood up trying to figure out what's going on.
Okay. We
Yeah,
got it.
I'll put this back up for you.
Yeah, there's a rundown of all the men. The picture underneath is a reunion, one of our reunions. But the reunion I'm proud of was a reunion in Dunmore, Pennsylvania. My buddy Lightning, his tank behind me on Anguar tipped over. He says, "Hey Ed, how did I get out of the tank in Anguar?" I said, "Lightning, I so damn busy in front, I said, I don't know what happened behind me." Yeah, then I needed 2 men in my tank. Yeah, one guy was a coward. Lightning heard about it and he wanted to go out. He said, "Lightning, don't be a damn fool. Let the deleted army give me a man." He says, "You're going out, I'm going out with you." Then his driver, I agreed, volunteered to go out. We had a good tank with him. In fact, one night when I agreed with Palau, he was on guard duty. He opened up with a machine gun. So I woke up, I says, "Hey, what's going on?" He says, "Ed," like this, "Ed, there's a Jap out there." I said, "Well, kill the SOB, let's get some sleep." I figured he wanted to shoot the gun. He was a driver. Next morning I get up to do the morning toilet, there was a dead Jap there. Yeah. He says, "Ed, there's a Jap out there." He showed more excitement drinking beer and Camp Polk. Yeah, we had a good crew, Lightning. We got rewarded. That asshole Campbell took his booze back, but we got R&R 4 days, Lightning and me. Out of the battalion, they selected 2 men. Me and Lightning. Yeah, we got the Army gave us a bottle of booze in 4 days. We ate steak and prime rib.
What was Lightning's name?
Forrest Kern.
Did you keep in contact with him?
He's passed on, yeah. Yeah, I set up a reunion because them saying, "Hey, you're going out, I'm going out with you." He's got his pictures up there. Yeah, pointing out the death scene in the middle. Yeah, him, I agree.
Swing around.
Now this is the reunion?
Yeah, yeah.
No, where are you in the reunion?
I'm in the back. I'm over here. Yeah, right there, yeah.
Okay, where's Lightning?
He was not there.
Oh, okay.
Lightning's in the company picture was up on right-hand top corner.
Up here?
Yeah. Yeah, that's Lightning. Oh,
What
right
here?
there, the one to the left. To your
Wait a
left.
minute.
Joe the Gator.
Oh, I'm sorry, up here.
Yeah, the one to your right now.
Okay, so that's Lightning and this is you?
There's a better picture of him right there. That one.
This one,
Yeah.
okay.
The one on the left is my tank commander, Walker. There's a picture of Lightning, I think, in the right-hand corner. The Saddler and me, we got killed on D-Day. Yeah, picture of my tank, Ron Hartley and...
Did you name your tank at all? Did you have a name for it?
Yeah, Champagne.
Champagne? Why'd you name it that?
Well, getting $50 a month and that, we couldn't afford champagne, we could drink beer, so we said we'll go the other extreme. We named it Champagne. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it served us well.
How did you How did your experience in the military change your life, do you think?
I'm very cynical. And outside of that, I mean, it had to be done. Somebody had to do it, and got stuck.
Okay.
But
Well,
like I told you, I was a top gun. The old man, company commander, told me that Soup Campbell wanted to court-martial me. He slammed the field desk. He says, "Luzinas, you're the best damn gunner in the company." Well, I knew that. That's why I get away with that stuff. But oh, this is a good one. One of the sergeants, I mean, he came in with us, a recruit. We had a typhoon and a lot of seaweed was washing up on our beach. So they put him in charge of the detail. I had a minor rhubarb with him, and he turned me in. So the war's over with. I mean, we were relaxing. And he turned me in, they gave me KP. KP, I mean, there was no damn food, no nothing. So I was telling the cook what to do. All the regular cooks went home. I was telling the cook what to do. And my first sergeant at that time, Breyer, called me in and he says, "Hey, Luzinas, how about you cooking?" I said, "Sarge, there's no damn way I'm going to cook for you people. You can eat that crap, so can I." Yeah, KP, they want me to cook. Go to work instead of enjoying this senior and stuff. Yeah, quite experience, a lot of damn memories. Good ones, bad ones, what can you do?
well, thank you very much for your interview.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.